Hi everyone, a quick update, quick follow-up on my long video I just posted. A couple things I left out there that I meant to include are that number one, the state is requiring new evaluations, but it's not, the requirement isn't just a new evaluation now this year. In fact, what will happen from here going forward is that we will be reevaluated. All for tax purposes, all of our properties will now must be reevaluated every 5 years, and so that is to keep current. And so with property values, and so essentially, so that the government gets its right money and everybody quote unquote pays their fair share or whatever. We're every 5 years, our county is going to employ an outside agency, which is going to come in for who knows how much money. Is going to come in and conduct reevaluations on all our property. So just like this time, we'll likely have people coming out once every 5 years to walk around our place, see what's changed, and report that back so that they can keep things accurate, and so keep an eye on us. Okay, so essentially that's going to take place now. That's going to be normative for our lives going forward. Okay, and so now a little something about these agencies. I actually happen to know a little bit about it, but these companies that they hire to do the evaluations. I know something about them because I have actually some relatives who have had or maybe underemployed a little bit, that kind of thing, and have worked for some of these these evaluation agencies that conduct these services. And so here's a little how those work. You're somebody looking for a little work or some side money or whatever. You get on the internet to whatever the employment services are you're looking into. you submit your application or your resume or whatever to these agencies that do land and property evaluations. They interview you a time or two on the phone, make a hire, and then you're about maybe a week to 2 weeks of quote unquote training. Couple hours a day kind of thing, 3 hours a day, something like that. Training, to teach you how to basically do what property assessors do, what certain real estate agents would do in doing evaluations and making comparables and that kind of thing, in terms of like what to place a land, to establish a market value of what is theorized that any given property is valued at, what its real worth is. And so essentially, your land, your properties are going to be evaluated essentially by part-time workers, or I would say underemployed workers, who basically go onto a website every morning. There are X number of valuations that are posted for them, and they get paid on the basis of how many evaluations. They get paid per evaluation. And so the incentive is to do evaluations quickly and efficiently, and the more that you can do in a day, the more you get paid. And so the list is never the list of new evaluations is seldom long enough to give everyone vying for those evaluations a full day's work. And so the incentive is to hurry up, and so get more evaluations done so you make a little more money out of it. And the pay is fairly low. And so essentially these are the people that are making land evaluations. I'm saying all that to say this. At the end of this, in March or whenever, they're going to when they tell you what your new evaluation is, they're going to give you a list of comparables of other properties and that kind of thing in which they used to establish the value of your property. Now, we don't know. What we don't know right now is whether these comparables are going to be lands that actually sold for market, to establish market value, or on the basis of them, they simply had some other formula to take other properties like yours and just establish inadvertently, some kind of valuation on. So we really don't know. They have their own formulas. They have their own ways of determining these things that they train their associates to utilize in making valuations as quickly as they can and doing as many as they can in a day. So essentially, there's going to be an appeal process. Okay, the first appeal, of course, as you can probably imagine, there'll probably be quite a few people appealing. So the first process is an informal process in which you'll go before some kind of probably small committee or something like that is kind of how I'm envisioning it, how I understand it. And I would imagine based on probably the number of people that are going to be wanting to appeal, and the short window of time, maybe a month or two, in which people will really have in order to do their research and then actually go and get an appointment and get in to make their case for themselves. Essentially, you might have a few minutes to make your case. Okay, and so you better have your ducks in a row when you go in there. You better know, they're going to give you the evaluations, and it's not clear right now whether when you go into the appeal meeting, they'll give you the evaluations then, or whether they'll give you the evaluations prior so you actually have time to make a case for yourself, against those comparable properties that they're using. So that part wasn't quite clear. I'll try to get some clarification on that. However, then, on the basis of those appeals, what they're calling informal appeals, if you're not satisfied with that, then you'll have the opportunity to conduct a formal appeal. And so this is why I'm imagining that the likelihood is that we probably won't even know what the valuations are until we make an appeal. And so that's why, I'm thankful they did that. They sent out to us. I know I received one in the mail. Hopefully, as a landowner, you did too. I already received an application for appeal, and so I'm imagining the idea is to encourage people to go ahead and make their appeal. But as they're encouraging people to make their appeal, granted, there's going to be more people actually filling out that paperwork and making an appeal. And so, given the short window of time, that means you're going to have less time and opportunity to actually make your case for what you feel is actually an adequate evaluation of your property. So essentially, that's how the process is going to work now. And so then you're going to have the opportunity to repeat this process every 5 years. So congratulations for being a property owner in Mercer County, Pennsylvania, or in Pennsylvania at all. Now, every 5 years, you get to make a justification for why you don't receive, why you should or should not receive perhaps a substantive hike in your property taxes. And so one can only imagine then that some of the biggest sources of taxation in our county, which the primary one is the public schools. Okay, it's going to be ever more and more important who you elect as your school officials, because they're the ones ultimately going to be really affecting your taxes. However, not yes and no, because Now that now that every time they do an evaluation, it's simply that year they can't raise your taxes, but the next year they can. And so essentially, it's going to be very important, very, very important, who is going to be on our school boards now and that kind of thing. As well as this may create a lot of negative public sentiment toward our local public schools, perhaps pressure for consolidations, pressure for less teachers, more students in classrooms, and that kind of thing. Or simply there's a lot of us are just going to be displaced as residents here for perhaps people of better income who can afford these things. And as people of that kind of income come in, who can afford those things, begin to displace those of us who can't, then the nature of the population of our county and our townships is going to alter. Is going to change significantly to our detriment, but there'll be a lot more tax revenues come in and a lot more services that the government can provide. Isn't that wonderful? So anyway, just that update. So I just wanted to fill in a couple blank spots there that I left out. Again, sorry for the long-windedness, but these are important issues that I think everyone is at least everyone should be wanting to consider going forward as residents of the county, residents of your township, people who vote and elect, our commissioners, vote and elect our tax people, and vote and elect our school boards, and those who run for those offices as well. So I guess the money's going to force you to become a little more political, maybe. We'll see.